And now we come to the 10-minute rule motion. Sir Bill Wiggin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to remove exemptions that require, from requirements to provide access or services to a person who is accompanied by an assistance dog, to make the undertaking of disability equality training in relation to assistance dogs a condition of holding a licence to drive a taxi or private hire vehicle, and to prohibit the parking of motor vehicles on pavements and footpaths. Just imagine how hard life is if you cannot see. But there are amazing people who are able to use a dog to help them go about their daily life. Dogs trained so skillfully that they can transform opportunities for blind people. Sadly, almost a third of people with sight loss are reluctant to go out on their own, and almost half of guide dog owners are forced to change or restrict where they're willing or able to go. As we see assistance dogs able to help more people with more and different disabilities, this bill will solve some of the problems that these dog owners face. Now, we've all felt for a light switch in a dark room at home. We can understand the feeling of frustration or helplessness or even panic. And if that's what it's like to turn on the lights in your own home, imagine trying to do so somewhere strange, where a mishap could mean cracking your head on the curb, or worse, being hit by a truck. No shop, no restaurant, no supermarket should be turning away someone with an assistance dog. No taxi driver should be worried about dog allergies when they see a blind person, because they must and will know how to look after them, because they've been trained to deal with these customers. And no pavement should be an obstacle course blockaded by parked vehicles. I am proud to say that North Herefordshire, people with sight loss have an especially esteemed place. Hereford is home to the Royal National College for the Blind, where young people with visual impairment receive training and education. And it is wonderful to witness these individuals learning not to cope, but rather to thrive. And yet, figures suggest that 74% of people with assistance dogs were turned away from food and drink outlets from July 2021 to July 2022. That 53% experienced a refusal when visiting a shop, and that 37% were told no by hotels and bed and breakfasts. All this in spite of the Equality Act 2010, under which the vast majority of such refusals are already illegal. The Equality Act protects the assistance dog, not the person, so it allows for far wider opportunity for access. However, it is the plight of these people that is the greatest importance to me, both because of where the Royal National College of the Blind is located in North Herefordshire, and also as a Royal National Institute of the Blind people champion. And lastly, as the owner of a former guide dog called Warwick. There is no reason why anybody should be turning assistant dog users away. Angry, embarrassed, disappointed, isolated. These are the words which respondents to a survey done by Guide Dogs UK use to describe such bad experiences. But of course the dogs say nothing. At a time when the RNIB reports only 56% of blind and partially sighted people have received vision rehabilitation support, and 26% of local authorities have left people waiting more than a year for assessments and support, it is critical that we must do more, and we must do it now. The working assistance dogs receive up to 2 years of intensive training, and that is before the further training they get during their working lives. They are not disruptive because they are so highly trained, and I've tested this on our family dog Warwick. When you go for a walk with a dog, we, the owners, lead our dogs across the road. But Warwick can lead you across the road. These dogs are hygienic, and I've actually seen the facilities for blind owners to be trained on how to maintain the very high standards of grooming required for these dogs, and the vets who regularly check them. The fact that the Food Standards Agency has confirmed assistance dogs should be allowed entry to food shops and premises proves it. Because most blind owners keep their retired guide dogs, my bill will go further and allow retired assistance dogs to have the same universal access. These retired dogs are often still owned by their original users, and they are just as well trained as working assistance dogs. It is already recognised that they're well disciplined and present no risk of disruption or hygiene issues. Then what reasons are there to refuse them and their handlers access? There are none. Even if permitting access to assistance dogs were a burden on business owners, which, as I've outlined, it is not, the numbers involved are so small that any negative effects are negligible. Just over 7,000 people in our country rely on assistance dogs, of which 4,500 are guide dogs. That's just one person in every 10,000. Currently, taxi and private hire vehicle drivers can be issued exemptions from carrying assistance dogs on medical ground. Some people are allergic to dogs. This is an unavoidable fact. However, it is only taxi and minicar drivers who can hold exemptions due to allergy. There are only 7,000 assistance dogs out. Surely we can accommodate everyone. It is a legal requirement for owners and employees in small shops to accept assistance dogs. Why should taxis and PVH drivers be allowed total exemption? Since COVID, protective screens for drivers are widespread and easy to fit. We need drivers trained to think ahead so that they have a solution to their dog allergy rather than refusing to carry a blind person. It's what we all do. We give consideration on how we can accommodate disability rather than reject disabled people. And yet 81% of guide dog owners told Research by Guide Dogs in 2022 that they have had access to taxis refused. Almost 63% had experienced this in the past 12 months. In 2016, a private members' bill contributed to the formation of a Department for Transport task and finish group looking into this. 3 years later, the government agreed to make it a requirement for drivers to undertake disability equality training. And yet, despite government commitments, last year only 62% of authorities required disability equality training for taxis. In Northern Ireland, where training is required, the instances of access refusal in for taxis are very rare. So training and forethought, they are the solution. Equally clear is the solution to problems that face assistance dog owners on foot. In 2019, 80% of blind or partially sighted people reported that pavement parking made it difficult for them to walk on pavements at least once a week, and more than 95% of people with sight loss stated that it had forced them to walk in the road. Consequently, 1 in 5 people with sight loss have been injured because of pavement parking. We should be helping these people, not impeding them. The England blind football team train in Hereford. They stand as a testament to the fact that people with sight loss can do almost everything that someone who does not suffer visual impairment can. So next time you think you need to park on the pavement, why not try shutting your eyes when you go to take a shower and see what a mess you make? In London, pavement parking has been heavily restricted since 1974, and in London only 26% of people with sight loss face daily problems, while in the country at large that figure is 45%. There are already ways for the police to fine obstructive vehicles, but enforcement is the issue. Prohibiting pavement parking would do a great deal to help people with sight loss. It's been done in London, it's been done in Scotland and in Northern Ireland, so it is possible and it does work. And the Transport Select Committee, their report of September 2019 recommended it. Now, I know the government is committed to the well-being and equality of people who use assistance dogs. This bill will make the lives of people with assistance dogs easier. It will also encourage and support people who use dogs or perhaps want to use a dog but are afraid of being made to walk home in the rain, barred from using a taxi or restaurant and forced off the pavement and into the traffic by pavement parking. Just imagine if that person was you. I beg to move.
The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many as that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Henry Smith, Greg Smith, James Gray, Selene Saxby, David Jones, Dame Tracy Crouch, Mark Francois, Dr. James Davis, Bob Blackman, Rachel McLean, and myself.
Sir Bill Wiggin.
Assistance Dogs and Pavement Parking Bill.
Second reading what day?
21st of June.
21st of June. Thank you.